This is a parcel from DJI. Now, before you get excited and think that I've been sponsored by DJI, I have not. This is just another tech purchase that I've made. And hopefully it is about to make our YouTube videos that much better. Microphones. For this video, something a little bit different. I thought what I would do is actually show you the different cameras and the tech gear setup that I use for filming our YouTube. So as a professional photographer, I shoot on Canon mirrorless gear with RF and EF lenses, a mixture between prime and zoom lenses, full frame, all the stuff we've been shooting. Well, I've been shooting professionally for almost 15 years, so that kit is quite different to what I do in terms of video. So professional photographer, very much amateur videographer, and I've literally just started doing these episodes as a memory keeping process for us, and so it was very grassroots. I pretty much was just doing it on my phone. I think I got a GoPro, and I've slowly changed and adapted my kit and what I'm using, and then over time I've ended up getting a drone and that sort of thing. So I think you might be surprised to like the gear that I use to shoot these videos, and also how I edit them. So it's not going to be like a how-to video, but I thought I'd just show you a bit of behind the scenes of my gear and also what I use for editing, because it is very basic. Anyway, I thought I'd bring you along for the unboxing of this. Okay, good morning. So as I'm sitting here drinking my coffee, I just grabbed all the stuff that we use for filming our Horton Adventures videos. So we have two main cameras. The one that I'm filming on right now is my trusty old iPhone 12 Pro Max. There is nothing flash about it. It's got 3 camera lenses, so it's got a wide, a regular and a zoom, and I obviously have my phone with me almost all the time, and so if we're somewhere and I don't have my other camera and I want to get a clip, I often will just grab it on my phone. So my phone ends up often having a lot of B-roll on it. I film things for like shorts and reels and short form content on there, but the camera that I prefer using for our adventures is the Osmo Action 5. So this is a DJI Action camera. I believe there's actually maybe a 6 out now, so it's not the latest and greatest. I've had it for maybe a year, maybe 2 years now, and I upgraded from this action camera, which is an old GoPro. So I think this might be like, oh yeah, an 8, a GoPro 8. So it's very old. It doesn't have like the front screen like the Osmo does, and yeah, obviously older technology. I thought about just getting rid of this rather than bringing another cam on the road with us, taking up space. However, obviously they don't take up a heap of space, and I have kept this one because I have got a lot of accessories for it, which, to be fair, actually do cross over. So all the attachments do cross over. So I'm actually using like the wee shorty GoPro stick on my DJI. But I have kept this one because I've got like the chesty mount, I've got helmet mounts and that sort of stuff for the GoPro, and I figured that if I want to do underwater, I've got like the underwater case for this one. Even though this one is waterproof, it freaks me out getting it more than splashed, just because to me it doesn't feel like it should be waterproof without a case. I have burned up an old GoPro years ago from not having one in a waterproof case, even though it was technically waterproof, because if like one of the little seals around the battery enclosure or anything like has like even a little bit of dust in it, it can compromise it. So that always makes me a little bit nervous. So we do have all the gear for, including the underwater mount for the GoPro 8, and I've kept it because I'm a lot less precious about this one. Like I strap this on to a motorbike, take it like underwater, that sort of thing, without being that stressed about it. It's not my main filming camera like this one is, so that's why we have kept that here, but it does not get used very much. And I will say I have absolutely no regrets going from the GoPro to the DJI. They don't even compare, I don't believe. And obviously that's an old GoPro. However, I don't believe that they even compare. The batteries in these last 4, maybe 5 times longer than GoPro batteries do. I always used to have my GoPro randomly shut down on me or go dead, black screen, and I've never had any technical issues with this. It just does what it's meant to do. So yeah, I would definitely not go back to the GoPro brand. I do really love the DJI. So now that I've talked a bit about this camera, I'm actually going to swap over to filming on this camera with the new mics that I got. So I've fully charged them up. This is, I actually realized, is a charging case. So they're kind of like your earpods. You can put them in the case and it'll recharge the mics. So there's 2 mics in there and a transmitter. With the DJI gear, like this Action 5, I don't actually need to use the transmitter. The mics will attach to this wirelessly directly without the transmitter. If I was using these with my phone, I would need to use the transmitter, so I need to plug that bit into the bottom of my phone. So that's going to be good to have mics for things like when we're driving or when we're walking, because I often find that whoever's holding the camera, it picks up their voice pretty well, but the person beside them doesn't. And I talk a lot louder than Matt does, and I really notice that when I'm editing our videos. Also, these come with wind socks, so I don't even know if that's what they're called, but these little things that clip onto them, which are going to make a huge difference hopefully as well with our audio, because wind is my #1 biggest bugbear, and I don't use fancy software for our video editing, so wind noise reduction is a bit of a hard one for me to deal with because I just use really basic software. Now that I have got you on the Action 5, I will just quickly show you a couple of the different attachments. So the Action 5 at the moment is actually mounted to the pole stick that comes with it, so it's an extendable, basically like a vlogging stick that attaches to the Action camera, but it extends out, and then on the bottom of that I've got like a little wee tripod attachment that just screws in the bottom. For my phone, I have this funny little tripod. I can't even remember where I got it from. It's got bendy legs that you can kind of wrap around stuff. You can change the orientation of this. I have it set up for filming landscape, and then it's got like a ball mount on the top. To be honest, I hardly ever use this for my phone camera because I'm only really doing handheld B-roll with my phone. Then I have this wee short selfie stick, which is an old GoPro attachment. I love it because you can sit it down anywhere, like so. It does extend out, however, it's quite loose. It's quite old now, and I find that when I do extend it out, it always ends up like dropping down with the weight of the camera on it. And I've just taken off the GoPro mount and put on the DJI mounts, which I really prefer over the GoPro ones because they are like magnetic and they just click on really securely and really fast. But it's all interchangeable. So I've been able to use our old things. I love this one because it is so small with Action Cam on. I can carry it in places like when I'm walking. It's really easy. I can pretty much put the whole thing in my pocket, and it's just really, it flies under the radar. Now, a lot of professional vloggers and YouTubers use proper like cameras and handhold them, or have them on short little wee vlogging sticks as well and use them. I love the idea of having a proper camera so that I can have like a short depth of field, change my point of view, and obviously as a photographer, all the options and the versatility of having a proper camera for filming would be incredible. And I mean, I could use my Canon camera for vlogging if I really wanted to. I probably need to get a couple of really wide lenses. However, I love that when we're out and about somewhere filming, this is so easy to carry and it's not obnoxious. I cannot imagine at the moment anyway, in my very early YouTube career, walking around with a big camera and lens pointed back in my face while we're vlogging. It's easier if you're just filming something that you're looking at, like the scenery, but when you've got it pointed at you, like walking down the street or into a shop, that just seems very loud, and I guess you just have to grow a thick skin and not care about that. But having a little wee action camera as my main filming camera definitely suits me down to the ground at the moment. Okay, so the next bit of kit that I have that I very rarely use is a gimbal. Now this is a gimbal for a phone, and it is really good for getting some real cool cinematic like B-roll shots with your phone. However, I find that I really don't use it that much, but maybe I'll try and use it a little bit more. For the Osmo Action 5, which I'm filming on at the moment, there's a few different accessories, and one of them I actually bought I think it's like the adventure combo, so it comes with 3 batteries instead of just 1, and I love this because then this is really easy to just keep handy and be able to swap a battery out. However, to be honest, I haven't yet had to take spare batteries with me on any of the walks or any of the experiences that we have filmed before in one sitting. Like sometimes when we get back to the vehicle, I'll swap a battery out, but the batteries last for so long. So even on big day walks that we do, I probably do carry spare batteries in case, but I don't remember actually having to swap one out. Whereas sometimes with the 2 GoPro batteries I had, even when the camera was new, I found that I didn't have enough juice in those 2 to get through a whole adventure. And then the only other gear that we film on, other than our camera on our phone and then the Action 5 Pro, is this. And we're definitely getting into using our DJI, I think it's the Mini 2 SE. It's quite old. I've had it for a couple of years now, this drone. It's one of the ones that's like 249 grams, so tiny little thing. You don't need any special aviation license to fly it, and it's really compact and easy to take with you. There are definitely some downsides to having a small drone. We've got friends that have got big drones that obviously have better cameras, but also handle like the wind much better than this one. But I've had this for a couple of years, and I actually honestly bought this so that back when we had Devon Cottage and our homestead, that I could chuck it up in the air and get time-lapse like shots of my garden at different stages of like the season, like in autumn and winter. But we are definitely getting way better at using it a bit more and taking the time to get it out. I love using it in the sense of once it's up in the air, I like doing the creative shots and framing up the different landscapes that I'd like to, and I have like ideas for different drone shots that I want to get. However, I don't love flying it, and Matt is the #1 drone flyer in our relationship, so he usually controls it, and I give him creative direction. So this is the controller that comes with it, and I do kind of want to upgrade our drone at some stage because it is a bugbear that you have to plug your phone in to use it. because there's the odd time where I go to grab my phone to do something and I realise that it's on here and Matt's using it. So it would be really nice to have an inbuilt screen. And the newer drones have things like follow me and obstacle avoidance, which this one doesn't have. So this is our drone kit, and that pretty much wraps up the gear that we use. So we keep it very simple, couple cameras, some really basic accessories that go with it, and a drone, and that's it. Okay, well, it turns out that I just needed to update the firmware on my Action 5 camera. So I have now done that, and I thought this will be a really good test for it because we're in the surf and there's a fair amount of road noise in here, and whenever we are driving and I'm like grab the camera to vlog, my speech is usually alright because I'm like holding the camera, but like if Matt talks you can barely hear it. So this is a test without the mics attached to the Osmo 5.
What do you want me to say? Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3.
And now I'm going to attach the mics and we'll see how much of a difference it makes. Alright, so I am holding my one, just handheld. They've got like wee clips on them so you can clip them onto stuff, or they're also magnetic as well, so you can like clip the wee magnet in behind something or on a hat or wherever. So this is my one, and Matt has also got one
Awkwardly attached to my singlet because I'm currently driving. And I tell you what, if you've never been to Southland in summer, it's fantastic weather.
Yeah, she's pretty average weather. We are just driving back to our campsite, so if you're wondering why we're in the surf, we've got 2 vehicles on this trip, and we are camping in at Piano Flat on the week that the weather has turned pretty average. So stay tuned for the next episode to see how that adventure goes. But yeah, I think these will be pretty, like that took 5 seconds to connect up. I literally pulled them out of the wee charging case and turned them on, and they were connected straight away to it. So nice and easy now that I've got all the firmware and everything sorted. And it'll just mean that if we are doing something where one of us is holding the camera but we are both talking, should be good.
Surely.
It's quite windy as well as rainy right now, and hopefully just with the inbuilt mic you can hear that wind and what it sounds like. And now here is what it sounds like with the windsock on the external microphone. So hopefully when I bring that up in the editing suite, I'm going to notice a difference between the two. Hopefully. But I'm going back inside to edit the rest of this video because I'm sick of the rain and the wind. Okay, so another little bit of a test view. We are sitting in a car park doing laundry, and I have just hand holding this wee microphone, and I'm pretty sure I've clicked it into noise cancellation mode, so it'll be interesting to see how this has turned out. However, must say I am loving these so far. Really impressed with how even the audio is, even just hand holding. Anyway, that is not why I have picked up the camera. So I'm sitting down in front of my laptop, which I do all my editing on, and guys, just use the free iMovie Apple software that came on my laptop. Like I said before, I started making these clips purely for us, so I wasn't going to go out and learn a new software, buy some Flash professional editing software. I just used what was already on my computer, and when I became familiar with that, I just stuck to it. It is so basic, so it is really just you load everything into your timeline. You can add music, all your clips, the adjustments that you can make. So you can't color grade. You can obviously crop in, you can change the speed of clips, and you can do a little bit of like video stabilization, a little bit of noise reduction, but it's all very like preset, basic, very, very basic, but it works for me. I'm not at this point interested in color grading and making cinematic stuff. I love watching cinematic videos on YouTube, but that's not where I'm at for now. So just keeping it really simple works for me. I don't have the time or the willpower right now to learn how to use a different software editing. So I'm a big advocate when it comes to like, even when I'm teaching photography to people, I always say use what you've got first and then see if there's gaps. So I'm just using what I've got. Anyway, that was a wee test for the microphone indoors. It is currently raining outside. There's vehicles driving past. I've just clicked it into the normal mode now, so I'm intrigued to see what it sounds like differently between just normal and the noise cancellation. Anyway, I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight into how I make our videos and what that entails gear wise. It might be a lot simpler than what you thought. Yeah, anyway, we look forward to the next adventure with you, which is a really cool camping adventure in one of our favorite places with friends and has got a little bit of everything. So we will see you next week in that episode. Join us next week for 4 days off-grid in Piano Flat with friends. A camping adventure with stunning views, bike riding, some cold river swims, plenty of delicious camp meals, bush walks, and some very rainy camp vibes. Thanks always for watching and for following along with us on our journey. We love having you here for the adventure.